Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the bye, week 7 edition, Unfiltered Truth. I'm your host, Phil Robinson III. With me, as always, Phil Jones. About to get into our weekly interview with Levi Edwards as we preview the upcoming Houston Texan game. Take a look back at last week, getting some R&R, and maybe try to come to grips with just where exactly the Raiders are. All that and more on today's episode of The Unfiltered Truth. Let's start the show. Welcome in, everybody. I see the usual suspects in here. Q, EG, Dundee. There'll be more filing in later. We didn't really broadcast this, but it's all good. Without further ado, because my man is running short on time, you know him, Mr. Levi Edwards, the Swole reporter. So, welcome back.
I appreciate it. Before we get into anything, I guess I just haven't really been very observant. I was watching the intro. You guys have had Megatron on the pod.
He did a PC. He did a PC with Megatron.
Nice. Megatron used to be my guy growing up. That was yeah, him and Julio. Him and Julio were my two favorite receivers growing up.
No, for sure. It's been one hell of a ride. It's been one hell of a ride over the course of these 6 years. Done a lot of stuff. Somehow we got to figure out a way to get the pod we did with Dame on there.
Yeah, I know Dame. He's big in Raider Nation. So
he getting ready to play in a couple minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna see if I can check out that game. See if I really want to watch the Suns and the Mavericks. That's the game I'm really trying to watch. I'm trying to see what.
Yeah.
Did you see the champs beat the Lakers last night?
Yeah, I don't want to really talk about it.
Yeah,
I know y'all don't.
We'll go back to the kid.
See the size of that ring, though.
No, I liked how it's like the circle thing where it's like it kind of looks like it's like you twist it and then it opens up into that was pretty cool. And Steph is my guy. I actually grew up in the same town that Steph played college ball at in Davidson. So my mom, when she was working at Davidson College, she got us season tickets that year that they got to the Elite Eight. So I could say I saw Steph before he was Steph. I'm not surprised as to what he became because I saw it firsthand in college, even though it was, the SoCon. But back then, it was just I didn't know Steph had the handles that he had. Like he just go around screens and then just shoot. That's all he did. But now he's got handles. Yeah. He's a baller. That's enough about basketball, though. I apologize. Warriors spanked the Lakers last night. Okay.
I just like to let it be known, just to every opportunity.
Don't get hit like Draymond.
Whatever like Poole did. But anyway, I digress. Texans this week. You guys had McDaniels had his first press conference of the week. It was first practice. There was no Waller. We got Foster back at practice, as well as DJ Turner and Anthony Everett.
That is correct.
Excellent.
So definitely 3 big guys to get back. No matter. Hopefully, Darren Waller will be fine. I don't think it's anything too serious, but regardless, I remember last year when he did go out for those 6 games and Foster Moreau, I believe, did a very good job of filling in for him and being that guy, in the vertical game that the Raiders needed him to be. So I have the utmost confidence in Foster Moreau I believe that's how you say his name. I've been, Foster Morrow. Yes. So gotta make sure I put some respect on it. So yeah, him as well as Anthony Avery this could not be a better time for him to come back because A, you got Nate Hobbs down about 4 or 5 weeks, and B, you got Brandon Cooks. And even though Brandon Cooks is a little up there in age, he still got them burners, and he'll still go out there and outrun a lot of people. And Anthony Everett is one of those guys that his trademark is speed. I believe he had like a 4.33 coming out of college, and he's got a lot of speed. He's probably the fastest corner the Raiders have at this point. So put him right up against Brandon Cooks and see how it goes.
I actually can't wait to see that. That was one of the things that I expect. One of the highlights that I expected to see from Everett was somebody who was capable of putting the top back on the defense, especially with some of these faster receivers. But so how now? Can we get into that just a little deeper? Because this secondary has pretty much for the most part been a revolving door all season long, and it's been Trayvon Moore. Now it's Hobbs. It was Rock Ya-Sin. We've had virtually everybody go down except for Abram and Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson and you said Abram. Those are the two guys that have been able to stay remotely healthy. I know everybody's banged up at this point, but they've been able to consistently play, and I really like what I've seen from Amik. And like I said on here a couple of weeks ago, is that no matter who returns or no matter how things pan out, I think Amik has earned the right to continue to play within this secondary. So he's a guy that I'm looking forward to see what he's gonna do. Because so
This is Corey in the comment section. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
he can derail some shit if you let him. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh damn, Corey.
Sorry, that caught me off guard.
Oh,
me too.
Sorry, that caught me straight off guard. But yeah, Mig Robertson. Yeah, he's played to his role. He's doing well. And Abram, Patrick Graham's going to continue to see what he, continue to move him around, do what he can with him. And that's the thing is that Patrick Graham, next man up, he said that, and something that he said that really caught my attention was no one's going to feel bad for us, so we can't feel bad for ourselves. And that's what it comes down to in this league is you play who is ever in front of you. You can't feel bad about, who you don't have. You can't feel bad about who they don't have. You just got to go out and, do what you do.
No, you're right.
Most definitely. There's so much turmoil going on, so I'm trying to remember all of our areas of boundary that I got to skate around with some of these questions I'd like to ask versus what I'm going to actually ask. But since it came up and I don't have to ask it.
Yes, sir. Dave Maxfield. So, I don't know. That's my best answer I can give. I really don't know. I know there's been a lot of speculation going around, and of course, I'm not going to talk about people's pockets like that. There's writing on the wall either way you look at it for that to happen or for that not to happen.
Right.
And I don't know how much traction or how many teams are being talked to at the moment. Right now, at this very moment, they are still both on the team. So the way that I think and the way that I, talk about these guys, I'm going to talk about who's on the team right now at this moment on October 19th. My shirt's in the other room, Corey. I just got back from the gym. I'll make sure. I should know better. I should have put on some sleeves before I got on this podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling intimidated just a little bit.
That's on me. That's not professional. That's not the professional thing to do on the Unfiltered Truth. I really do apologize for it.
Over here. Listen, I told you I was old and busted, bro, and washed.
Hey, look, you should have seen him walk into the restaurant that one day. He was like, yeah, want some eggs.
Well, you can have them, shit. I got a whole 5 dozen. You can have them all. But moving right along. keeping this on because I know we're on time limit
here. Yeah, sorry about that.
So what's the? Oh, I know that who said somebody tweeted it out that the overall mood is still pretty high. We know where we are, where the Raiders are. Excuse me, not we are sitting at 1-4, and moving forward with the rest of the season. What are your thoughts about that? How do you see this particular next stretch of the season playing out? I know that the first 5 games, a lot of people had various predictions on where they would land, where they would end up, but it was one of the 5 hardest games of the season, or 5 of the hardest games of the season, all back to back to start it off.
Well, that's a great question, and games aren't played on paper. We all know that, but we're going to talk about these games on paper because they haven't been played yet. So we're going to conduct ourselves as if they are being played on paper. And I know whatever the Raiders record is, it is what it is. They can't change that. They had a very hard 5 teams that they had to play, and they were in every single one of those games. I believe 3 out of 5 of those teams were playoff teams. It is what it is. It's just a tough stretch. You should have won the games. When it comes down to it, though, when you look at this next stretch, the Raiders have 3 straight opponents that have a below 500 record, just like they do. And then you have the Colts, who are 3-2-1. And then you have the Seahawks that are 3-3. And then you have another game against the Broncos. So you have a 6-game stretch against 4 teams, essentially, that are at or under 500. And then you have 2 teams that, you have already beat this season or have beat last season. So with that being said, all 6 of these games are very winnable games. And I feel very good about looking at this team and looking at this schedule on paper. Yes, they're banged up, but it could be a lot worse when you look around the league and you look at all of these other teams that are just hampered with key injuries, like really bad. You look at the Broncos, you look at the Chargers, you look at, the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have had a lot of injuries and they're still 4-2 now. You have a lot of teams that have been hampered by really bad injuries to really key players. So for the Raiders to be in this position now, when you look at them all in all, they're very remotely healthy going into this 6-game stretch. So you look at the teams that they're about to play, and I believe that they're very composed and they know that they are better and can compete and beat these teams. And so realistically speaking, if the Raiders can win about 5 out of 6 of these games, on this next stretch, then they are right back in the process of competing for a playoff seed. And then you look at the totality, I can't pronounce that name, but you look at the season in total, and then you look at their record in about 6 weeks, and then it's almost like you completely forget that they started 1-4.
That's what it's going to take in order for them to get to where they want to be. Now, I see it in my chat line, and I believe it too. One of our resident KC fans here that loves to come in and razz the program said best 1-4 team in the league. And I really do agree with that, even though he was over here talking his boo-boo.
I mean, which one do you agree with? Two fan of what Corey said.
Just have to execute. Well, I wasn't going to go there. But the Raiders just have to execute in critical situations. And I went back and I wrote an article about the defense because I was just trying to get a feel for what exactly it is. Aside from the Kansas City game where they gave up 30, defense is averaging 23.5 points per game, which is pretty damn good and a huge improvement over what they were giving up last season. Yeah. But the red zone is 84.2%. is what they're allowing scoring. 14 out of 17 touchdowns. That is a room for improvement, and that's to keep it mild and keep it professional. That is not good.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. That's the big area of improvement that the team can make on both sides of the ball, not even just on defense, most certainly on offense as well. This Raiders team is just, oddly enough, it's just a team that plays very well inside the 20s, and then once it gets into the red zone on either way, And that's the thing, last year where the Raiders defense kind of gave up a lot of yards, but it was a very bend or don't break where they were able to get those, third down stops in the red zone and limit them to field goals. And this is a really good team that, it's different because, they'll get third and outs in the middle of the field and they'll, start to gain momentum and try to give the ball back to their offense. It's just when teams have gotten to the red zone, they've been very effective against them. And, I'm going to take the Chiefs out the equation. The Chiefs are one of the top red zone efficient teams that I've seen in recent memory, just in terms of them with Andy Reid, but they can just do a lot better on all fronts when it comes to the red zone of just how they operate. I'd say the only person right now that is probably doing their job to the best of their ability in the red zone right now is Mr. Carlson.
Yeah.
Leading the league in field goals for the third straight year?
Shit points.
Yeah. Cash Money Carlson.
Hey, he's worth every penny. Without him, I don't know what the scoring could look like. And other teams have been having kicking issues, and it's always interesting to see teams suddenly develop a problem with their kicker and see how much that really truly messes with the flow of the game. That's where we'll use messes. But let's talk about Josh. Josh has been incredible for the last 3 games. Topping his own season high records, or individual game records, rather. Excuse me. He's out there breaking 30, 40-yard runs. Now, I know it's a contract year, and that's usually about the time that you see this type of drastic improvement from a player. But how's he look? And I noticed through that convo about rapping, he managed to leave himself out of that conversation. So where does Josh rank with the mic skills? We can talk about the ground game, all that. We get back to that. I want to hear about the mic skills.
So I've never heard Josh rap. I'm not really sure about his bars. I've heard Max rap. Obviously, he can spit. Foster can spit. Darren is pretty solid. I've never heard Roderick Teamer, who Josh put in the list. I've never heard him rap, but the way that just the cadence of how Teamer talks, just when you do talk to him, I would assume that he is a good rapper. Just the way that he talks and his tone, he kind of gives off like Playboy Cardi, like Young Thug vibes. I could see that coming from Roderick, no lie. And then he put Amir in there, and that was kind of surprising because Amir's just a really soft-spoken guy, just very about his business, very, straightforward. So I would have never thought Amir can spit, but shout out Amir. That's my guy, 205. We both from the same hood, so shout out to you gotta look out for the Birmingham boys. So yeah, it's very interesting the list, and I'd love for the Raiders to get together and do a cipher, a little cipher action. That'd be pretty lit.
No, I agree.
Josh Jacobs, about that. You're talking about rapping, but Josh Jacobs, the player.
Yeah,
he's been pretty damn good. And I think the best way to put it is, above all else, whatever contract negotiations or whatever talks and all that other stuff, people can throw that in there. But when it comes down to it, I just think Josh Jacobs is a guy that's just trying to earn respect. He wants the respect of his locker room. He wants the respect of this new coaching staff. He wants the respect of all 3 of us on this podcast and every other media outlet that's looking at him in his games. He just wants respect. And that's what he's going out there every day trying to earn, is respect. And that's why, whenever he gets the ball, he knows that he's got guys behind him, and they can run that thing too. So he knows with every carry, he knows that I got to show them you can't take me off the field. And that's just the way that he's run this year. Just with 2 straight games where he went for 140, 144, and 152 or whatever the numbers were. He's just been amazing. And even before those 2 games where he went off, he was already having a great season, and he just wasn't getting the touches that he was getting the past 2 games because of the game flow and how things were going with them wanting to prioritize the pass, to try to come back in games. So really, when it comes down to it, as long as the Raiders offense continues to set the tone coming out the game and attack and stay in the game and keep leads in the game, Josh Jacobs is going to continue go over 100, continue to have over 20 carries because he deserves it. He's been one of the best backs in the NFL since he's come in, and I think now more than ever he's trying to prove himself. He wants to be in that conversation with Saquon and Chubb and McCaffrey. He thinks he's that guy, and he's gonna prove it.
And he should be, because I look at it and I think that if he had been getting the amount of touches that he's getting now, they got another at least couple more wins, and he should be leading the league in rushing right now as we speak, because he took 2 weeks, basically a full game off with the second half of games not getting the ball at all, and he's still third. He's been incredible all season long, making guys miss. He looks faster. It's really not typical that guys hit year 4 and look faster than they did or look as fast as when they first came in, but he's been exploding. He's getting cold. He's able to change directions. I mean, you name it, he can do it. Now, breakaway speed is still leaving something to be desired, but it is what it is.
So let me just say something about the faster thing. Is I don't think it's a matter of just physical ability or of anything that he might have done in the weight room or anything that might have I honestly think it just comes with experience. I think that he's now more confident in himself as a player, more confident in his offensive line, where he's going to go, how he's going to do things. I think he's just thinking less on the field. And when you don't have to think a whole lot about what's going to go on, especially at the running back position, if you can just go out there and just not have to think too much and you know what you're going to do and you just do what you know to do and you go back on your training, you're going to play very fast. And that's for any position. And I think Josh Jacobs has just been the beneficiary of that.
Has he dropped a couple pounds since last year?
I mean, he might have. Honestly, he's always looked pretty in shape. He seems like he's done a good job of, staying in shape, staying toned. So he might have gotten in better shape. You'd have to ask him that. Just from what I've seen, he's looked the same all 3 seasons I've covered this team. But yeah, I just think that he's more confident in himself and he's hungry and he's just doing what he's going to do.
I totally get it. So what were some of the tidbits from the press conference today? I know we're getting close to what you got for us, but what were some of the lesser highlighted tidbits from the press conferences today?
The fact that they're still a composed team, the fact that they're excited to play this game, and they're not taking the Texans lightly despite their record because they have the same record. So you can't take anybody lightly at the bottom. So they're taking this game really serious, and they know that this is their opportunity to jumpstart the rest of their season, get back in the swing of things. They really respect Lovie Smith. I've heard nothing but great things from McDaniels and the 2 coordinators the past 2 days about how much they respect and admire Lovie Smith. Deservingly so. Lovie Smith has been a great coach in the college and professional level with the opportunities he's been given. Also, the fact that yesterday, while the coordinators were speaking as well, Mick Lombardi, he came out and he said that he was starting to feel a lot more confident in this set offensive line. So I believe that, not that, there still won't be a rotation, but I feel like he's pretty set on this starting lineup being what it is for the rest of the season. And then he'll bring in whoever he needs to for whatever packages or whatever injuries. So I think you're going to see this starting 5, be set for the rest of the season. And then I think perhaps, Munford will come in at right tackle when need be, or Lester or John will come in at one of the 2 guard positions when need be. But I'm pretty sure that, this whole revolving door that we've been seeing, I think it might be closer to the end in terms of what we're going to see as a final product for the rest of the season.
Okay.
That makes sense. It's what, 5 going into 6 weeks now, 6 whole weeks of football.
Yeah, it's been
pretty much have an idea of who can do what by now, and seeing them continue to do it, and who can continue to move forward, and who's reached what they got. It's definitely interesting. So I'll get your final thoughts. What about the Texans? What should I be concerned about from the Texans? I know we spoke about Cooks, we spoke about Pierce. What was it? Josh had said they were a very straightforward team.
Yeah, so I actually don't remember us talking about Pierce.
Not Pierce, but he was talking about they got a running back. He's good, solid back, makes tackles.
Yeah,
takes it out. They're straightforward team. Do a lot of run, a lot of traditional Texas football, handing the ball off and running it.
Yeah, no, that right there, I would say, that's the focal point. That's what half and half concerns me the most about this Texans is this rookie named Dameon Pierce, who leads the league in broken tackles, even with coming off a bye week. Yeah. Patrick Graham compared him to Derrick Henry yesterday, and I can see it a lot in just their run styles and the way that they are able to move the ball forward with him. They've had a lot of success feeding him, so I believe that right there is the biggest thing that I'm worried about when I look at this Texans team is the play of their running back and the way they're able to block for him and get him into certain schemes, even as a rookie. He's a really dynamic physical specimen. I really like him a lot. But on the bright side of things, the Raiders have been very good against the run this year. Even coming off of a bye, they are second in the league in fewest rushing yards allowed. So that's a really good thing to look at that I feel like is very underlooked throughout the season is how good the Raiders have been against the run. The highest amount of rushing yards they've allowed to a player this year was Derrick Henry, who had 85, and most of those 85 came in that first half of that game before they shut him and the offense out for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So Dameon Pierce is a guy that I'm really going to be looking at, see what he can do. Derek Stingley Jr., the guy at LSU, their first pick last year. Yeah, he's going to have a big task ahead of him with Devontae, and I believe that the Texans are going to put a lot of trust in being like, look, this is going to be your welcome to the NFL moment right here. You want to be the best? Go up against him.
Right in the face.
Yeah. Go get him. And and the Broncos did that with Patrick Surtain. Patrick was like, look, you want to be that guy? There he goes. Make some plays. Yeah. And it was a good battle. They had their fair share of of course Devontae won the war. But Surtain made some plays, and I think Stingley's going to come into this game, and he wants to prove himself. He's the third pick in the draft. He wants to show that he, rightfully so, third pick in the draft, first cornerback taken off. He wants to be that guy. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those two rookies play. That's kind of what I'm most excited about, and I believe that's also what the Raiders should be most concerned about going into this game. In terms of hard-nosed team, they just play really hard. They're very disciplined. And really, honestly, the only thing this Texans team lacks is experience. They just have a lot of guys that are still trying to learn how to play with each other. And they might not have that big superstar name guy, but they have a lot of solid players that just know how to play ball. And they all have taken the identity of their coach and of Lovie Smith and the other coaches around him. So this is definitely a team that you can't scoff at. They're very competitive, and they've been able to stay in a lot of their games that they've played, just like the Raiders have. They haven't really been blown out by anyone either, despite their 1-3-1 record. So it's gonna be a good matchup. Of course, on paper, I believe a lot of people are still going to take the Raiders. A lot of people like to joke about it, but this 1-4 Raiders team has to be the best 1-4 team I've ever seen in my life, which is insane. And take that to the bank. I mean that this is the best 1-4 team I've seen, and this team could easily be 4-1 as they are 1-4, which is insane thinking about it. But this is a focal point game, and I'm not gonna go on here and say that this is a must-win game, but I will go on here and say that winning this game could be very, very integral in turning this season around, building momentum, and then going on this stretch of wins like we were talking about they could go against the competition they're about to face in the second half of the season.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to go on record and make a prediction. The last time you did, we actually got a W, and I know that I had made reference to broadcasting it live so that we could have that good fortune spread out throughout Raider Nation, and I got to tell you, it's very hard for me not to do that. And when the team is 1-4 and you're out making great predictions, it gets just that much harder not to do that to you, Levi. But we're going to need some firm predictions. So let's run that back, try it again. So against the Houston Texans, what do we see going down?
What I see going down against the Texans, win or lose, expect Josh Jacobs to get the ball a lot against a team that has surrendered 167 rushing yards per game through 5 games. So, men will lie, children will lie, animals will lie. Numbers can be deceiving, but numbers never lie. And so when I look at the numbers, I see how Josh is going this way. And you look at the Texans run defense, and that's been their Achilles heel of their team, as you can say. Yeah. I expect for Josh Jacobs to get another solid about 20 to 30 carries, and he's going to make the most out of all of them. And even with that, I would also expect for McDaniels to even try to get a little bit more of his other running backs incorporated as well. Get some Bolden in there, get some Amir in there, get Zamir in there. I think it's going to be a really good, fruitful day on the ground. That's how I'm feeling. I think Allegiant they're going to come out and they're going to see their guys try to literally run over the defense. So that's what I'm expecting. Or not expecting, but that is the firm prediction that I could give, just as a sound football mind.
As a sound football mind, I like it. Last two, real quick. So more than anything, the pass rush. This has been a lot of money committed to the pass rush, and you're talking about 8 sacks, 6 of them coming from Max. 2 of them, 1 coming from Nate Hobbs, and then I think Bilal Nichols had a sack called back, and I forgot who has the other one. But this defensive line is not getting I already said Hobbs is not getting pressure, not getting a lot of pressure. They're not hitting the quarterback. I know that they play a lot of soft zone, and the average depth of target is about 7 yards against them. What can they do? What are they trying to do? How do they believe that this is going to get better? Because it is an area that needs to be addressed.
Well, I will say this is that when it comes down to it, it's all about affecting the quarterback. And despite whatever the sack totals may be right now at the very moment, when it comes down to pass rush, it's all about affecting the quarterback and getting him off of his game. And I believe that they've done a good job of that up to this point. And I feel like a lot of us look at the numbers and the statistics, and they just see that, they don't lie. And they're a little low on sacks right now. However, the numbers don't lie. And I wish people would look a little bit more at some other metrics as far as the tackles for loss that this team has. You look at how many pressures, how many hurries that this team has. You look at the win rate that this pass rush has. Things like that, and the numbers are a lot more moderate to high than the sack total, and it looks promising. And that's something Patrick Graham said himself, is that really when it comes down to it, it's all about affecting the quarterback even when the numbers are low. And when you look at the previous 2 seasons with the Raiders, they were not necessarily great in getting sacks. At the same time, 8-18, 10-17 went to the playoffs without being in the top half of the league in sacks. At least I know for the 2020 season. I can't confirm that for 2021. They could have been in the top half of sacks. Not 100% sure, but when it comes down to it, it's about affecting the quarterback. And if this team was 4-1 instead of 1-4, of course, we'd be talking a lot less about, how many sacks people are getting. So, of course, getting to the quarterback is important, and getting sacks is important, and it's a big metric that people look at. But at the same time, when it comes down to it, what are you doing to affect the quarterback? Are you making him make bad throws? Are you throwing him off? And you can look at that and what the defensive line is doing. You can also equate that to the amount of turnovers that the Raiders have had through 5 games compared to how they've done in the past couple of seasons with interceptions. So it's all a group effort.
No doubt, no doubt. Last question. Have the Raiders established their identity as a rushing team when everybody thought with the moves that have been made that it was for sure going to be a passing team? Right now, it appears to be the run game that is carrying the day and that is proving to be the identity of this team. When they get the run game going, they appear to be very, very difficult to stop. Yeah. They control the time of possession, and they play their. It looks like they're playing their game when they're running the football.
Well, I definitely wouldn't consider it a running team. I would say over the past couple of seasons, they could definitely be considered a running team with the way that Gruden had his scheme and the way he'd like to do things and kind of, run, play hard-nosed football, control the time of possession, things like that. That's what he liked to do. And we saw a lot more of the run game in that scheme. I think with McDaniels, he wants to be a very balanced team, and he wants to make sure that they're doing everything as effectively as they can. And he also seems like the kind of coach that's going to continue to go to, outside of the Cardinals game where they kind of got away from the run in the second half, I believe that they are a team that wants to find some balance. And so whether if DC's hot and he's getting it to Devontae and he's doing his thing in the passing game, then I feel like they're going to continue to go that way. But if Josh wants to come out and he wants to run for about 6 yards a carry every time he touches the ball, I think they're going to go towards that direction. I think they're just willing to do whatever it takes to continue to let the team be successful.
Yeah. No doubt. And I know I said last question, but something just came up and I apologize for that. But you've had the opportunity to talk to Devontae and Hunter. What did they say happened on that play?
I haven't really talked to them personally about the play. From what Josh said, it just seemed as if Devontae was trying to run his route, and he kind of got pressured at the line of scrimmage on a press, and it kind of altered the way that he was trying to run the route, and so it messed up the spacing of it, and that's what happened. So I can only go off of what he said. Of course, he's a lot more of a football aficionado than I am and knows way more than I'll ever know. So if he said that's what happened on the play, then that's what it seems like happened on the play. It looks like it was just really good coverage by Kansas City. They got to the line of scrimmage and they pressed him pretty well, and it affected the way that he ran the route.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. He got pushed into an inside release when an outside one would have carried him through the area so that Hunter could come underneath. But I thank you for your time, brother. I thank you for your insights and all of that questions that you were able to answer for us. Pleasure as always. Phil, you got anything for this young man?
No, but you took all my questions.
Most definitely. So hopefully we can get better in pass rush, get better in red zone defense and offense. If those are really the two biggest things that the Raiders need to clean up, and if they can do that, then the season's not over.
Yeah.
No doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, the Swole reporter, Raiders digital sideline reporter, with all of the Swoles out on clear display, so you can see that he's that dude.
Should have put on a shirt. Should have just put on a shirt. That's my apology. It won't happen again.
I'm sure it won't. But all right, brother, take care.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Levi Edwards, the great. Man, it is wild. It is wild. The Raiders are 1-4 coming out of the bye. Typically, this is where things have gone wrong in the past. I feel I'm conflicted because I'll tell you, I honestly feel they could win every game from here on out. They could also just as easily lose every single game. It comes down to critical situations and executing them. The red zone, got to do something in the red zone. 84.2% is ungodly. You're not going to beat anybody. giving up touchdowns like that in the red zone. You're just not. This is the National Football League. They are pros. If you let somebody get down to the 20-yard line, they are going and convert like that, you're going to lose. You're not going to be able to keep up no matter how good your offense is or no matter how good your defense is outside of the 20.
I mean, it's really nothing else to really say. I mean, shit. It's like you just said, it's critical moments. It's coming down to the wire. It's the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and goal at the 4-yard line where all you got to do is cover one guy, jam him. 4th and goal. Everybody's doing their job except one guy not having his head where he's supposed to be at. I mean, what else can you say? It's the same old shit. This is becoming repetitive. I'm tired of repeating myself. It's common fucking sense. You're out there to get a fucking paycheck and do your damn job. Create pressure. Boom. Get to the quarterback. Now, granted, there is stuff that they have set up for one of your edge rushers where he's going to sit back and kind of sit in a flat containment. He probably be in a quarterback spy because you've been dealing with what? Multiple mobile quarterbacks for the first, 6 weeks. But still, even so, you got a D tackle that you had in that's not doing what he should be doing, and that's executing and creating pressure and getting back to the quarterback. So you know what? Healthy scratch. I can just keep going and going and going and going. At the end of the day, Phil, if the Raiders really want to fucking win, they'll come together. They'll get it. They
Absolutely
don't. Well, you better get your draft board ready. That's all I can really say. Show me. Show me. I'm tired of saying like, oh, you know, brother, there's going to be next week. We're going to get it together. How many fucking times did we say this season?
How many years?
It's only the first week it's only the first game of the season. It's only the second week. We're going to figure it out. It's the 3rd week. We're going to figure it out. Give them some time. You know, they didn't have preseason. What kind of fucking excuse is that they didn't have preseason?
Didn't they have 5 weeks of preseason?
Man, look, no, that is it. Well, we didn't have all of our starters together. Here we go. We bring in the whole goalpost. We're going to move it to the right. We're going to move it to the left. We're going to back it away and make more excuses. If you want to live and just keep making more and more excuses for this team, then God help you. All right? Seriously.
Carlos has got it right. They, more than anything, they got to finish all 4 quarters on offense and defense. We can't keep doing this to our fans. To shit, they can't keep doing it to me. I got a heart condition from watching these motherfuckers. Going up 17, 20 points in the first half, and knowing that looking at this lead that they're going to lose. That they go jumping out to a big, huge lead, and I can't even be happy because I know that at the end of this game, somehow they're going to blow the lead and lose. That's got to stop. They have to want it. They have to want to do better. They have to go out and do better. They got to execute. They got to keep focus on details. Otherwise, this is gear up. What you're going to see is 17 competitive losses, 16, 17 competitive losses.
I don't know. Where the Broncos playing, you get another game.
That's the only one you're gonna get.
You get a hand given. Let's ride.
Because they're the only ones that aren't scoring any points. Low scoring team in the league.
Seriously, I mean,
And it's not even about being fed up. It is what it is. We've been seeing this for years. It has not changed. It's gone almost. I'll say not that it hasn't changed, because usually you don't see it go like this, where they come out of the season and just are flat. Gruden at least had them competitive through the first 4.
You say, hey, best I can give you, you're gonna be above 500. I mean, what can I say? Shit,
it is, yeah.
Hey,
or never stop running the football. So our compatriots.
No, yeah, hold on. Yes, Dave. Yes.
Yes.
What's so hard about that? I mean, seriously, what's so hard about that? Why can't you keep your foot on the gas pedal?
Conservative minds, you get up.
No, it's not conservative mind, Phil. It's not conservative mind, because you were with another organization and you were fucking blowing people out every time when you had the chance. Don't give me that shit. It's every single time. Oh, damn, we got this. Look, we can go back. I'll give you an example from last year. We were going up against the Eagles, tapping that ass. And what happened? Oh, we're just going to run the ball and be conservative. The fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all love doing this shit? Y'all like sitting back and laughing and shooting the shit during the bye week on this, where your ass is sitting at 1-4? Deep down inside, you guys suck. There's something about you guys, you suck.
Deep down inside, you suck.
I don't know. It seems like when I talk more shit about them, they tend to play better.
You're 1-4. You playing like ass when it matters most. You up for the first half of the game. That looks cool. Refs is calling all the penalties for you. It's a beautiful thing. Second half.
I mean, shit. I mean, damn. That was like, I was like, hold on. I was like,
you don't even get to look like.
Hold on. Did you remember Django Unchained when the bar owner, he was up on a ladder and he saw Django walking, he was like, whoa. Had me like that when the referee was like, roughing the pass, a 15-yard penalty. I was like, whoa. No, I'm in an alternate world. I ain't never heard this shit before. This is crazy. And you couldn't execute off of that shit? Come on.
I knew it was coming back. I knew it was, because if you watch it, it's been happening all year. They'll get called. One team will get calls in one half, and the other will get it in the other half. And you look at the point differential in the NFL this season, and there's an awful lot of games that have been decided by less than one score, which is hell on betting lines. Which means that somebody is making an awful lot of money off these close games. Now you let that sink in and you do with that what you want to.
I don't know. I might just put in go over under by 5.
Right? Or if it's 4 or less, you better lay off of it. Just telling you.
I just won't do the same thing what Ridley did.
It's been bad. It's been bad in college too. I mean, if any of y'all can get out there and run a little bit and watch a damn fucking play, you can probably be an NFL referee. They get paid pretty good too, from what I hear.
Yeah.
McDaniels, that's not him. You gotta understand that's not him. Said he's a quiet killer. He's more of, listen, I'll show you the tape of you fucking up. I told you to fix. You didn't fix it. I showed you what you needed to do. Okay, cool. Duly noted. Said you'll be gone at the end of the year, and you'll see. You at the end of the year, we'll get a feel for who it was that had a grasp of the system and who didn't. because they will be expended quickly.
I mean, are they? Are they really? Are they really expendable?
They're gonna be going like they were. Shit. Raiders are 0-6 with this referee. I mean, they're 1-4 on the season right now, so it doesn't look like they're winning with a whole lot of referees, period. I mean, we could go back and look at their record with every referee, but when you've had 2 winning seasons in 25 years, it's going to look like that no matter who it is.
I'm going to just say this for the Raiders defense right here. I really hope they're listening. If you lose to a man that weight lifts with his neck, if you lose to strong neck, long neck, you need to ask yourself, damn, we really suck.
This man's lifting weights with his neck, bro. That's some above and beyond shit right there. I mean, if he's over there lifting weights with his
neck, man's neck built like something off of Men in Black.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, if he's lifting weights with his neck, I'm looking at that like, yo, somebody needs to drug test this man.
That man's neck looked like my man off of he looked like the damn giraffe from Toys R Us. Shit. Y'all lose. Look,
that's the best idea I've heard yet, Roger. Have a zebra voodoo doll in the stands and just sit there and pull that motherfucker every goddamn time you see a flag. Sorry.
No, but it's just like, come on. Can we try to generate some more turnovers or so, you know? What's so hard about that?
He said sacrifice something.
Hold on, what?
Hey, you know what? Fuck it. I want to see some winning. I want to see them get some shit together. If they got to pull, what was old boy from Major League, Pedro? What was his last name?
Oh, yo, motherfuckers.
And he got the whole set. He got the whole shrine set up with the burning helmet football. I don't give a damn what it is. If it works, it works. I want to see some winning. Seabass was good, brother.
Good. So we out here.
Pedro, there we go. Pedro Serrano.
Sacrifice people.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, man, I mean, who about to catch that fade?
Hey, whoever. I'm an unlucky participant. Somebody. It's a tough gig, but somebody's got to do it.
Shit, ask one of them stands. They'll do
it. Anywho, real quick, let's see. We got anything? If y'all in the comments section, y'all in the comments section, get your last little comments in here. We'll take them before we get off air. I see Davis Mills is Mike Glennon 2.0. I think he's a little better actually, but
he sacrificed the 6-piece from KFC.
Dream trade we should make. The world for Aaron Donald.
Bro, you have to trade
the world.
Your next first round picks for the next 4 years?
You'd have to do that. Maybe a couple seconds, at least 2 or 3 seconds, and then you'd have to pay that contract and see if he was still willing to play. But what that man's impact could do, you probably could get away with a cheaper haul if you went after Vita Vea.
Vita Vea.
Vita Vea. Vita.
Oh shit!
But a colossal space-eating, pass-rushing, defensive tackle.
I can line up at defensive end and chase your ass down.
I want him in the middle. I want him 0 to 3. I don't want him outside of the guard. I want a guy in the middle causing havoc, making the quarterback look at him instead of his receivers. That's what I want.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Hey, guess who got player of the week
in the NFC? Marcus Mariota. He was he was halfway through the fourth quarter before he threw his first incompletion. Had 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing, and had a highly efficient game. You look at the yards and say, oh, but he didn't throw for that many yards. Had a 3 touchdown performance against the San Francisco 49ers. And you can say what you want to say about their pass rush, but, I mean, he just got back his tight end. He didn't have Cordarrelle Patterson, and they're still missing Ridley. So, I mean, he's out there getting it done with lesser talent than what he previously had as the backup with the Raiders.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Tony is on the roll. He said Mariota is part of the bloodline.
I mean, what can I say? Some people were saying, oh, he's going to be the worst. I don't like that right now. I'm happy for him.
I am too. So he's a good guy. Yeah. And wish him the best. Is Mark Davis the reason we're sticking with Carr? No, the reason why you were sticking with Carr is because at that particular time there was nothing better. And it is going to be the what you're looking at, the replacement is going to come through the draft. Now, I hope that they've taken a long, hard look. They've already been down to Tennessee to scout one Hendon Hooker. Currently, they have the 2nd pick in the draft, I believe, only because they had the bye week this week. And so you're looking at potentially Bryce Young, Hendon Hooker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. There's more. Those are just my 3. But and then you got to figure out who's going to be a McDaniels guy. I really, truly, actually, Hooker is growing on me. Like I said, if you go between Hooker, DTR, and Bryce Young, you can't go wrong.
Nope.
Cannot go wrong. I would say that Bryce is still the best of the bunch, but Hendon Hooker's size is ideal.
It's Hooker time.
And I mean, who wouldn't want to see Hooker on the back of a jersey in Vegas?
I mean, that'd be the number 1 selling jersey. Come on, man. Think about
Hooker, we got Stoner, we got Diablo. I mean, these Raider jerseys are about to be collector's items.
Nah. You know who you got to get as your backup? General Booty. Hooker, Booty, and Stoner. Come on, man. That would be the best jersey collection you can pick up.
Diablo Booty. I'm just saying.
They be like, damn, NFL be like, yo, what the fuck?
Raiders brothel.
Our sales skyrocketed. They said, well, who?
In Vegas, it's all legal, baby. You got the money to play. You can have a good night with a happy ending.
Nah, I don't want no Rodgers. Y'all can have Rodgers. I'm good. Rodgers look like the the drug dealer that just been fucking up back and forth, and you like, nah, man, I ain't buying nothing else from you, homie.
Look like the old boy off the Ozarks after shit started going bad. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Unfiltered Truth. Please like, subscribe, help us pass this out, help us build. We love all of you. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.